Good morning, everybody. This is Ori Spado, the accidental gangster, and welcome to another episode of Stories with Ori. This morning, I got the honor and the privilege of finally, all the way from Australia, she brought the koala bears with her and everything. A friend of mine that I met on Clubhouse in the good days, the old days of Clubhouse, when there were quality people on Clubhouse during the pandemic. Justine Pogroske.
And you're probably the first person to ever get my surname right. Very charming.
Oh, yeah?
It's all coming out. Yes.
So, Justine, welcome here in Los Angeles.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. You know, you and I have known each other now for a few years.
Yes.
We've talked on the phone. This is your second visit to Los Angeles, I believe.
Yes.
Saw you the first time. But I really don't know a lot about you. I know you own the $1 Million brand. That's a great podcast that you do from Australia. And hopefully maybe now here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Now that you saw it the professional.
I'm staying.
The professional way to do it. All right?
Yes.
And I know that you're into fitness. But tell us, you know, I know that you were born in South Africa.
I was.
So tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Sure.
Okay, and what brought you to where you are today?
So I grew up in Johannesburg, South Africa. We were, I'm going to say, middle-class family, very old school morals and values, I think, Ori, kind of similar. Look, I didn't have to do my own lawn, thank God, because that would have been disaster, but very good family, amazing mother and father. However, things in South Africa got very dangerous. And at the age of 12, what happened was my brother, my dad, and myself went to go and get a movie. Remember when the Blockbuster stores were around? So
Yeah.
we went the old school way to go get a video. And my mom was at home alone in the house. And we drove into the driveway on the way home. And there were 9 men with machine guns who had shot the power lines. And my mom was in the house and we were ducking in the car. My dad said, put your heads down. And they were shooting at the car. There was a big shootout. We didn't know if my mom was alive or dead in the house. She had to hide in the bathtub and put towels over her. And thank God there is definitely a God because he protected my family and protected us. But that was the end of our South Africa life journey. It's an amazing country. It's still definitely got part of my soul. But we had actually come to look at Australia before that, the year before, and we went to go look at America. I still say although I'm very grateful to Australia, I love the Americans. As you know, I think I'm more patriotic than most Americans. I love this country so much and I love the people. But we immigrated to Australia. It was a bit of a rough start because we packed up our whole life in the space of about 4 weeks into a 40-foot container. And I remember sitting on the plane and I was like, now my life is about to change. And I'm going to a new country. I'm 12 years old and starting again is not always easy. But I think I've always believed out of adversity is born advantage. And I was never given anything on a silver platter. I worked extremely hard at school. I worked extremely hard after school. I always had an artistic side to me. So I started actually for a publishing company when I finished school after graduating. And I remember sitting I used to design 9 magazines with my creative director who was from the UK. He was an amazing person. We still talk, actually. Got some funny stories around that. But I remember sitting in the office thinking, do I really want to spend my whole life laying out copy in magazines? And that was when advertising had come out. So I don't know, have you watched the show Mad Men?
Oh, yeah.
And we love Mad Men.
Yeah,
so that was huge inspiration. But I think I really loved the idea of bringing out emotions in advertising the old school way. So, you know, when you watch an ad on TV and you see that you feel something or you laugh. The Super Bowl ads in this country are great. They're fantastic. They're my favorite. But I really wanted to get into advertising. So my very first job, I campaigned for the job in an advertising agency. There there was a job for a digital designer, and I put together all little creative things. So there was a lot of competition back then for those companies. You had to be top of your game to get in. Everyone wanted the same job. So I thought I got to be a bit outside the box. And I created all these little campaigns. I campaigned for the job. I sent like little baby shoes saying, and it's made it attention to the creative director and got it, what do you call it? Like couriered, right? I don't know how it works in the States, but the little baby shoes said, I know I need to learn to walk before I run, but I'm going to be like your best runner. Like, give me a go. And eventually, at the end of the campaign, after I did all these gimmicks, the creative director called me and just said, Justine, you've got the job. Now, please leave me alone. Like, just stop sending the stuff. You start on Monday, you know, you got the job. And from there, I'm blessed. Like, I worked for a lot of the top global advertising agencies, worked very hard, and I can't stress that enough. Blood, sweat, and tears. And then I went on to start my own agency because I was working in a firm. We're working on a big Coke campaign. And I don't know if you have ever heard anything about advertising agency Christmas parties, but they're a big extravaganza.
Yes.
And so everyone goes out. I don't know if you guys have Cirque du Soleil here, or you've heard of it. Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah. Have you been? Have you seen it?
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so they had that. It's a huge escapade. They planned the whole year just for this Christmas party. And we all went out. And the next morning, I was the only one in the office because, you know, I'm a recovering perfectionist, Ori. And I arrived there at probably 8:30 and there was no one else in the office. What happened was we had a new creative director because the old creative director that I worked for 3.5 years was fired during the GFC. And so we had a change of management. Arrived in the office at 8:30 and the creative director pulled me into his office and said, I need to talk to you, like come into my office. And I sat there and he said, Justine, I don't know why you're still here. And I looked at him and I said, what do you mean? Like, I'm here to work today. And there was no one in the office, just me and him. And he said, you know, I know you've been here for however many years, but you're not worth your salary. And I just looked at him. I think he was just in a bad mood or whatever. But all my dreams just came crashing down because I really wanted to be this global creative director. It wasn't also very common for there to be a lot of women creative directors at these big ad agencies, but I was really headed that way. Like, I was good. And in that moment, I had tears like rolling down my face. And I don't cry. Like, it takes a lot to make me cry. You know, I'm quite resilient. And I remember walking out of his office and walking downstairs. And I called my mom. And I said to my mom's amazing. And I had tears rolling down my face. And there were people walking through the lobby and looking, you know, walking. It was just one of those moments. And she said to me, what's wrong, Justine? Like, what's happened at work? And I just said to her, Mom, I just don't think I can carry on. Like, I put all my blood, sweat, and tears into this agency. And now my creative director's turned around after 3.5 years of working at this place, telling me I'm not worth my salary. And in that moment, she said to me, you know what, Justine, now it's up to you. You don't let people's worth define you and who you are. You've got to go and make it. You've got to gain your value in life. And you're going to have to work for it and you're going to have to earn it. And that's when I started my own agency because I thought I want to be in control of my destiny. And that's when $1 Million Branders was born. So I started the agency before all these agencies. You know, now everyone's in advertising, everyone's in digital. But I really wanted to bring a sense of a boutique agency into a global setting. So as you know, from Australia, I've built this company which is quite awesome considering my background. And that's how my company started.
Well, that's an awesome story. And
Much.
I like that terminology. You're a recovery perfectionist?
Yes, I am definitely a recovering
How'd you come up with that there?
It's just, I think, you know what it
like
is?
the AA program?
Yeah, there is one. And there's an OCD one too. We should probably go together because I know you said you're OCD.
The perfectionist and OCD, is that one course?
It is, it is.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go together.
Yeah, we definitely have to go together after we rob the bank.
Yeah. We got to decide what bank we're going to rob. It's got to be well planned.
Okay.
You got to get into the vault. There's
Okay.
a lot of things. You got to be careful with the money that you're going to be taking, because we got to talk to Bruce. He
Okay.
was LAPD. We got to bring him in with us.
Got you.
He could probably consult for us.
I would be a good accomplice,
Yeah.
though. You think I would be good?
Oh yeah. You'd be great. You could keep their
I'll distract them.
distract them.
Perfect.
Okay, we're not going to rob no bank. So, anyways, that's one thing I never robbed was a bank.
Really?
Yeah.
We got to think of other things to rob, I reckon. Banks
There's a
aren't
lot.
lucrative
Jewelry
anymore.
stores are better.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are we talking here? Like
You
Bulgari,
got a good
Tiffany's?
point there. You could pick up $250,000, $500,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just follow your lead.
You just got to know. It's a little more work, and you got to drive to New York, and
Okay. I like New York,
47th.
though.
You got to know the people on 47th and sell it and so forth.
But you know the people.
I know that. I know the whole.
You know a guy.
Yeah, I know how to get rid of the watches. Got all watches, got serial number. I got a guy that
Perfect.
departs them out of the country.
I'll get my people to talk to your people.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And I get a retainer up front too.
Of course. Always.
So Justine, it's really funny. How old were you? Were 12 years old. I'm not going to ask you how many years ago that was, but I just watched. Happened to be last night a documentary on Steve. They call him Little Steve. Again, Van Zandt or Zant, his last name is. But he and Bruce Springsteen been together all their lives from little boys. And he's a great rock and roll artist, very extremely creative. And he's the guy that's responsible for Sun City. He went there to South Africa, all right, learned what South City was. And he broke up that apartheid. And how he did it, and how he got all the other musicians and the songs, that's how they did it, was through music that they wrote and got it throughout the world.
It's funny that you mentioned that, actually, because I just did a podcast interview with an amazing man called James W. Keys. I don't know if you've heard of him. So he was the CEO and chairman of Blockbuster and 7-Eleven. And he wrote a book called Education is Freedom. And I think it's an incredible book. So if anyone's listening, they haven't read it, they should, besides from your book, Ori, because I think that's just a life education. However, I think there's a lot of issues in the world with education. And I grew up during apartheid. And I remember, actually, I've got stories with Ori. You want to hear a story?
Yeah.
So when I was about 6 years old, I was on the beach. It was in Durban. And as a kid, you don't judge. You don't judge color. You don't judge skin. And my family never did that. They were always, we're Jewish. So we don't, it's just, they never judged by color or skin or race or whatever. And based on our background, how can we, right? So I'm on the beach, and there was an African kid the same age as me. And I was playing with him, and we were like sharing food. I think there was chips or something. You got to have Simba chips if you haven't. They South African chips. I'll bring you some. And they're amazing. And we're having a great time. Then all of a sudden, police come onto the beach. My parents are watching us, and I just started to cry. Like, I don't know. I was having a great day. And then all of a sudden we got broken up. And I think that was one of my first experiences of apartheid. And it really did something to me in my life, because morally, as a kid of that age, it taught me morals and values. It taught me that, I've been a waitress. I've done all types of jobs in my life because I had to. I had to work from, the age of 12 because my family had to start again from South Africa. So it instilled something in me that you have to show respect. And I know you're big on this. And it doesn't matter if you are at a restaurant and you're dealing with a waitress or you're dealing with a cleaner. Everyone has feelings. Everyone has a life. Everyone's fighting a battle that you don't know about. And this was basically where this lesson came from at a very early age for me.
One thing I've always liked and admired about you, and it was something that I was able to recognize, is the fact that, number one, you believe in every adversity, there's a seed of equal.
Absolutely.
And you've been a hustler, but you've always been loyal, honor, and very respectful. But I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because I also know that you love gangsters. And I'd like to know, as a gangster,
Yes.
I know women love gangster. Why? What is it?
I'll tell you. So you want to know why Justine likes gangsters, right? Me. I think the thing that I think is missing in today's society, and I know, look, Hollywood and movies are always glamorized, but I think it's the conversations we have. It's the basic respect principles. So it's how you carry yourself. It's how they were just gentlemen. Like, yes, obviously all the things that weren't glamorous, getting rid of the guy and putting people in car booths and stuff, but the way you let a woman walk through the door, or you just don't see that now. I mean, in America, you still do. People, if you're a woman, they'll let you walk out of the elevator first. Like, you always open the car door, or just things like that. And it's the basic respect principles of that old school way. And that's how I was brought up. And I definitely think I was born in the wrong era. And then another thing is, I think people just don't take care of themselves, like how they dress. I know, but I was definitely born in the wrong era. But even when you go on the airplane now, you see people with like their butt crack hanging out.
Oh my God. Oh.
They're wearing the sneakers, and there's just no pride in the world that we're living in. And maybe it's my upbringing, and maybe it's the fact that I'm old school, but that's why I just identify with that time so much and admire it. And then also the family values are very important to me and always have been. And I've noticed that with you. It's just, we were talking about it yesterday. It doesn't matter when I'm in Los Angeles, whatever time it is, you've always made an effort to see me, even if it's for a quick espresso or coffee. And I admire that about you. It's very rare in today's times to meet someone who is loyal and who is decent and who has values and morals. And I honestly believe like attracts like. And I don't believe you meet people by accident unless it's the accidental gangster. So.
That was nice put. I like that. You're very good. You should move to Hollywood. You belong here.
Do I? We'll start with your movie, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay. Well, the movie will be in production
Soon.
hopefully by the end of the year.
I can't wait to see that
Not
movie.
the first quarter of next year.
It's going to be
We'll in
amazing.
production.
I can't wait.
I can't believe this is the end of June almost.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So how do people employ you or retain you for your services? How do they get a hold of you?
Yes.
How could they find you?
Sure. So we've got a website, milliondollarbranders.com, and I'm also very active on Instagram the most, so Justine Pogroske _official. It's a very long...
Say Pogroske, because a lot of people are not going to spell that out for the people.
Okay. Pogroske. It's not as cool as the New York accent, but we're getting there. So hopefully they can understand me. And then I'm on YouTube now, which is great. So all the same tags. I'm on TikTok. I'm on everything. But I'm going to say we don't just work with anyone, because you know how hard I do work and how hard my agency works. So we only want to work with the best and people who demand excellence from themselves. That's important to me.
Well, that's very important. And, folks, I want to say, when I put my stamp of approval, and I guarantee somebody I have seen Justine's work.
Thank you.
And she does just not accept everybody as a client, but if you're lucky enough to get her, and she's going to build your business up for you.
Thank you so much.
Justine, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful having you.
It's been an honor and a privilege.
My pleasure.